They are eating this woman up in the comments. She posted this in the vent subreddit. She says, I hate living with a man. She says, I hate living with a man, not all men. They are eating her up. This is a venting subreddit and they are mad. She says he's disgusting. He never cleans anything. He doesn't wash properly. He tracks water from the shower all over the house as he walks around naked for no reason. He makes obscene noises nonstop. He is so loud, coughing, gagging, hacking on phlegm, never covers his mouth, listens to every video at full volume. Yes, even those videos. Always yelling across the house, slams every door he walks through, slams the drawers shut, slams the cabinets, leaves trash literally everywhere. Snot, so much snot. Poops with the door open, making way too much noise, and then won't clean the toilet afterwards or wash his hands. I'm so tired of living with a man. I cannot wait to move out of here. And then she says, wow, this blew up. I've never had a post get locked before. People are acting like she's just rage baiting, that she's just karma farming. But I went to her page. She's had a page since 2023. Just because people have a page does not necessarily mean that they're going to make posts. Some people have read it and just make comments. But this woman, she's, like I said, she's getting eaten up. And this is a venting subreddit. This person says, you're supposed to clean the toilet after each use. And she says, when you leave streaks in the bowl, you probably should. The fact that this person asked this question just speaks to their home training. Nutwinder, who I'm sure is a man, says, though I'm pretty sure OP has a better man in friend zone that would be clean and treat her like a queen, it just feeds her chaos to get on social media and be about it. OP, stay in misery. She loves him. And the OP says, social media, bro, this is anonymous, and I don't like the amount of attention this post has. But the crazy thing is, that's what he went to. He doesn't know anything about anybody being in the friend zone. All he knows is this. And he's created a narrative where he just knows that she has friend zoned somebody that's probably a nice guy in this person's fictional writing. The Ugly Truth says, shocking, an account with no post history and low karma posting obvious rage bait. And she says, are you blind? This account was created in 2023 and had karma before this post was created, not rage bait. This is my actual life that I wanted to vent about, hence why I vented in a subreddit called Vent. The Ugly Truth says, you'll have to forgive the confusion since it seems you somehow became roommates with a wild animal instead of a human being. And then the OP says, it's okay. I was genuinely blindsided by how gross he is. I grew up living with my dad and brothers. They were never like this. And then the Ugly Truth says, I assure you, most men aren't like that. And you should call animal control on your way out. Realistic Lake says, rage bait. And then Succotash Confidence says, it is just another Reddit post to drum up some men are bad sentiments. My favorite thing is seeing the mod Sticky saying, this isn't hate speech against men, but replace man with black person and watch people fly off the handle about it being hateful. Like literally that was a reach, but okay. She says she hates living with a man. She did not say, okay. Okay. All right. So then the OP says, not rage bait, wasn't trying to spew anti-men sentiment. I did not mean for this post to get so much traction. And I didn't realize people would harp so hard on a man thing. I typed this super fast and didn't think anyone would actually read it. I know not all men are like this. That's why I was only describing the one. She described the one, and they have created an all men situation. And now Succotash brings in a comparison to black people. Stylish Asparagus says, the fact that this is what some people chose to focus on out of everything in your post speaks volumes about them. Realistic Lake says, no, because we don't understand why she would stay with this guy. Why continue to live with him? And then the OP says, I'm currently in the process of buying a house to get out of here. I just needed to vent in a venting subreddit. She said, I just needed to vent for a minute. Alexia Starr says, this is why I won't marry a man without living with him in a house together first. We women really get catfished by those type of bums. I'm sorry you have to live with that dirtbag, but not every man is like that. And maybe it's time for you to decide that you deserve better. And then the OP says, thank you for understanding. Some of these things aren't things I could have known without living with him first, but I've definitely seen I deserve better. Yes. Yeah. And then she says, yeah, he's a pig. And of course, it will also hurt your heart to leave him because you are with him out of love, but pain goes away. Okay, let's keep it moving to the last one. They are so irritated that she's venting in this subreddit. Like, why are they so mad? This man says, divorce him. Why are your problems our problems? Absolutely unhinged to think we can help with any of that, but sure, go ahead and went, that'll help. LOL. All right, she says, what are you even on about? I'm venting in a venting sub. And then he says, yeah, exactly. You're venting, and this isn't the court of public appeals, but you're venting. Get away from your husband if he's such a menace, and he sure does sound like a man child. You're a grown woman. Why do others need to know you're married to someone like that? Why? Then she says, I'm not married to him, but I am leaving. I'm just venting about it since I don't close on my house yet and I still have to be around the nuisance behaviors. And then the man says, I get what you're saying and thanks for correcting me. It's just weird seeing these posts. If I had a wife or partner who was similar, everyone would find a reason to blame me, the man. Whenever I'm seeing women posting about this, it makes sense. But I couldn't post this. I simply couldn't. All right. She says, I personally don't think I would have bat an eye if someone said their girlfriend was a slob like this. If you're gross, you're gross. I've seen nasty women too, but trust me, I've gotten a fair amount of hate on this post. Yes. Honestly, as I was reading through this, I'm like, I definitely have to do this because they are simply wiling out on her because she's venting. It's like they know. They know she's probably, even if they think that this is rage bait, I'm sure that they know that there is a modicum of truth, even if this was creative writing. But they know. They just don't want women to be talking about this like this. Like, I have never scrolled the venting subreddit, but I'm totally sure that other people are venting on the venting subreddit. So why are they so irritated with this woman? Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I was tagged in this post a few times when this post hit the True Off My Chest subreddit. I didn't get to it. There's too many posts for me to get to, but I'm getting to it today because there's an update. So the original post, she says, my husband doesn't see how his work wife is trying to destroy our marriage. She's 31 and the husband's 32 and Sarah is 30. She says, I'm at my wit's end with my husband's coworker, Sarah, and his complete inability to see what's happening. I'm not usually one for Reddit, but I need to know if I'm going crazy here. Where do I even start? 3 years ago, my husband, Mark, started working with Sarah. At first, I tried to be welcoming. I invited her to our barbecues, included her in our group outings, and genuinely tried to be friendly. Big mistake. She spent the entire time making backhanded comments about everything from my career. Oh, you're just a yoga instructor. How peaceful. To my cooking. I guess not everyone can master basic seasoning. The real problem is that Mark thinks she's just being funny. Last month, she literally threw away the anniversary mug I gave him because it clashed with the office aesthetic. When I got upset, Mark said I was being too sensitive and that Sarah just has high standards for office decor. It was a mug with our wedding photo on it. Some greatest hits from Sarah. She scheduled a mandatory work dinner on our anniversary. She convinced Mark not to take a promotion because it would mean working with a different team. She posts daily photos of them together with hashtags like hashtag work power couple and hashtag work spouse. She tells everyone at their office that she takes better care of him than I do. She changed his coffee order and now tells everyone she trained him right. The worst part, my husband is completely blind to all of this. Yesterday, he actually told me about how Sarah said our new house, which we spent months searching for, was charming in a starter home kind of way. He repeated this while laughing. I tried talking to him about it, but Sarah has convinced him I'm just insecure. She's managed to insert herself into every aspect of our lives. They text constantly, even on weekends. She knows his schedule better than I do. She arranged his entire desk and office wardrobe because his style was too suburban husband. That's what he is. Last week, I suggested marriage counseling. He looked genuinely confused. He, of course, went and talked to Sarah about it. I found out from another coworker that she's been telling people that Mark and I are going through a rough patch and that she's just being a good friend by giving him someone to talk to. We weren't going through anything until she started this nonsense. The breaking point? I stopped by his office to surprise him with lunch. I know, but it was his birthday and Sarah was supposedly out sick. Guess who was there? Sarah. She'd miraculously recovered and brought him a cake that said, "To my work hubby," with a photo of them in the office holiday party. She saw me and said, "Oh, Amy, you came too. How nice. Mark, you didn't tell me your real wife was coming." I'm not crazy, right? This woman is trying to destroy my marriage while my husband stands there grinning like it's all some big joke. What do I do? Divorce seems extreme, but I'm running out of options here. She says, I should have stated that the promotion wasn't one that would increase his salary, but his title. It would give him more leadership experience. It still blows my mind that he turned it down just so he could stay on the same team as her. She also says, I should have told the mug story in its entirety. She accidentally broke the mug. I noticed it was gone when I was visiting him one day and asked him about it. He said she accidentally knocked it over and then later he repeated a joke she made about how it didn't fit the office aesthetic. That story in itself is enough. And I do recognize that many of these off my chest or am I the a-hole posts could be fake. But let's not delude ourselves. Office affairs happen like this because they start to become friendly. Men don't just cheat because they accidentally slipped and fell into a vajayjay. That's not how it works. It happens slowly or quickly or whatever. It happens because there's someone that's open and available and friendly. So she's not wrong, and no woman is wrong for thinking that this type of stuff is out of pocket and out of line because this is how affairs start. Emotional affairs, becoming way too friendly, texting way too often, inserting yourself when you have no business being there. But anyways, let's move on to the update. She says, hi, posted a few days ago. I really didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I got so overwhelmed by all the comments that I haven't responded to any. I want to address everyone who says it's fake. I understand why you think that, but this is my personal hell. I only listen to Reddit stories on TikTok, but when this reached its boiling point, I just needed a place to talk. So I made an account and tried to yell into the void. Well, the void turned out to be less empty than I thought. Now to why everyone is here. The update. Before I talked to my husband, I decided to do some investigation. I started with his phone and read all the messages between him and Sarah. She badmouthed me a few times. He did nothing to defend me, but didn't engage either. She was flirty. He wasn't flirty back. They talked a lot, and he praised her frequently for her work ethic and intelligence. I didn't see anything about cheating. I checked his email, nothing. I checked his work email, nothing. I looked through our other devices, nothing. I searched high and low for a second phone, nothing. Everything I found was always dancing that line, but nothing was outright cheating. But here are a few things that did hurt my feelings. He has lunch with her, and only her, every day in the office. They don't really like anyone else, so they'll criticize others and say, let's talk more at lunch. They're serving XYZ today. He'd say things like, I'm sure if you were a wife, you would X, Y, and Z. He always kept it as a wife and not my wife, but it still upset me. She admitted to breaking the mug on purpose. He didn't get upset with her, just said, yeah, the photo gifts are kind of corny. I confronted him, I laid it all out, and while he wasn't upset, he did try to brush things off. He said I was being sensitive and overreacting. I told him if we didn't have a real conversation about this, I would file for divorce. That got his attention, and he sat down with me. He admitted at first that he found it odd that Sarah was trying so hard. He saw her trying hard with all the men in the office. The more attention she gave him, the more he enjoyed it, and the more he responded, the more attention she gave, until she had his sights set on him. He knew some of the other men were envious, and he liked that too. He admitted that eventually he just got too deep. He said he knew it was wrong, but he had gotten addicted to the attention and didn't want her to move on to another man. So he indulged her sometimes at my expense. He said it was just nice to have two women in the two major parts of his life, stating that he knew we'd rarely see one another. So what was the harm? He reiterated that he never ever physically cheated with her, but he admitted it could be called an emotional affair. It was painful. I won't hide that. I mean, really painful. Like I wasn't enough. I told him from this point on he needed to stop communicating with Sarah and ask to be transferred or switch jobs altogether. Now, folks, I mean it when I tell you this. He lost his he began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated. It was all above board, and I couldn't control who he talked with at work. He called me a narcissist and a control freak. He told me I had no idea how hard it was, how much stress he had in the office, and that his personal relationship with Sarah helps a lot. Taking it away would damage his mental health. It got so bad I started crying. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. I packed a small bag and called my mother-in-law. She's the only family I have here. I gave her a rundown of what was going on and she offered her home to me. I'm staying here and just hoping my husband calms down so we can revisit this. I want to work it out. I love him more than anything. I will try harder to answer comments on this post and I will definitely update if something new happens. This has really been therapeutic and makes me feel less alone. The crazy thing is, with women. She says, I love him more than anything. I want women to start loving themselves more. I want women to love themselves more than anything so that when somebody is treating them terribly, then they will bounce. Love yourself more than you love someone else other than your children. Different ad says, well, I kind of figured he wasn't that clueless. This is a full-blown emotional affair. From experience, things will only escalate. They are in bed together. Will escalate. They are in bed together. Protect your peace because he sure doesn't give a damn about your feelings. Stay strong. And then Renway says he literally lets this woman talk about his wife and doesn't shut it down. He is choosing her over his wife. I'd be done. And that's basically the gist of it. Like, he's not choosing you. You're his spouse and he should be choosing you. But she loves him more than anything. She needs to love herself more. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you made it this far, go ahead and smash the follow button. So this woman sent me a message this morning. She says, let me tell you how you popped in my head last week when I was invited to my brother and his girlfriend's baby shower. And I got there and it wasn't ready. I was like, LOL, what I say in your head? She says, so me and my sister, the girlfriend's sister, all just get to work. My friend came and she listens to you too. I was like, look at us. Burb was right. Why are we laboring and we're supposed to be guests? And nobody asked us to. We just walked in as guests, saw it wasn't ready, and got it ready. She says, like, why am I heating up greens in the kitchen? Because there ain't enough sternos. I'm like, I don't mind helping, but can you ask me beforehand if I can help? Luckily, I just had on leggings and Uggs. And the thing is, you don't even have to ask women most of the time. Like these women it's just in our brains to do these things. And I'm not even saying I've done this. You see things that need to be done and we just do it. And it's amazing how we're socialized into doing it. Like our brains don't even have to be working fully to make it happen, but we have to make it like second nature. No, I'm sorry. We have to really start thinking hard about our unpaid labor. I know that they wanted to get it done for the girlfriend's sake, but in other situations, we have got to turn off that natural inclination to jump in and just start doing things. We've got to turn it off at work. We've got to turn it off at church. We've got to turn it off when you walk into a male-dominated space and just see something. Turn it off. Really think about it, because they don't walk into our spaces and say, you know what, that needs to be taken care of. Ooh, it looks like this is neglected. They don't do that. Why are we continuing to do this? Stop this, or at least start thinking about it in the way that they thought about it. I'm going to segue into a completely unrelated story simply because that post isn't long enough and this post is not that long either. So this says, breaking. Tom Brady roast Travis Kelce over Super Bowl focus, suggesting if he had focused on football instead of Taylor Swift, Chiefs would have had a three-peat. Jason Kelce hits back. I love Brady, but if he had focused on his wife more, he'd have a wife right now. Y'all just needed to see that because that got me giggling. I do want to point out Taylor Swift has been at other games that he has won. So the fact that they are blaming her for the loss is silly. And also the fact that, like, in times past when they've won, they blame that on Taylor Swift as well. They blame the other team losing on Taylor Swift. Like, Taylor Swift gets all of the blame all of the time, and it's quite silly. But like this says, damn, when he said that about Tom Brady and getting a divorce, that definitely, whew, I felt that one. So I'm segueing again. And no, this post has nothing to do with the other two. I just saw it and wanted to put it here. Holly said, oh my goodness, so many men are getting their little panties bunched up and screaming because I said I enjoy being single, therefore won't settle. Their rage is really making me second guess myself. Wait, am I getting turned on? I never know what these men really think that they're going to accomplish by like getting mad. Are they like going to get the women so irritated they're like, you're right. Let me go get a man right now. Anyways, I said, I should probably be your friend. I love women that make men have tantrums. So this man, the Phil, says, but we men need to feel necessary. If we're not necessary, then what is our purpose here in life? I think it's something like that for a lot of men. So there's two different things going on. She says that she enjoys being single. She's not going to settle. And then he says men need to feel necessary. Otherwise, what is their purpose in life? Men need to start figuring out what their purpose is regardless of their relationship. Men need to find their purpose because if they are basing their purpose on a woman and being in a relationship, they're going to continually be failing and flailing, especially as more and more women opt out of having relationships. And then he says, I think it's something like that for a lot of men. And to that, she says, but this isn't about men. This is about me. And to that, I say, correct. I know these men don't really like the fact that women are centering themselves. It really gets to them. Barr says, what would we do, emotional women, without their voice of reason? It's thanks to their comments that I decided to settle with the first man I see after posting this and submit myself fully to his innate divine masculine leadership. The men have won. The men have won. Sandy, towards the bottom, says, I was bombarded by angry boys because I said women don't need them and that being alone is not a bad thing. I had to go find the post that got them upset. She says, I've been single for 7 years. I make my own money. I enjoy my own company. I have deep, loving friendships. I don't want children. I can afford to be picky, so why would I settle for anything less than a unicorn? So she does not want children, so she's just going to wait. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. She's okay. And then Stephen says, men have to feel both wanted and needed. That's not to say that they expect you to be needy, but you must be willing to be vulnerable on some level and make a man feel like he's serving a purpose and filling a role that you can't fill alone. Otherwise, he'll always feel expendable and insecure with your relationship. And here we go, another man saying that this is his purpose. He needs to be needed. That's his purpose. These men need to find a purpose outside of a woman. And that's where she said, this isn't about men. This is about me. So he says, clearly, you seem very self-centered. So a woman centering herself is a bad thing to them. You probably aren't suitable relationship material because she's not centering men. She's centering herself and okay being single. So that means that she's not relationship material. He says, best wishes and good luck meeting a unicorn. He does not wish her well. He is very irritated with her. Barr says, you must be willing to be vulnerable and make a man feel like he's serving a purpose. How about men served an actual purpose? Are we playing theater? And they need, like I keep saying, they need to find a purpose that's not centered around a relationship, because that's why they say that they're dropping out of the workforce and not trying hard, because they're not getting a family based on just having a peen and a job. So, yeah, they need to find some kind of other purpose. This person says, you are not waiting for a unicorn. You are the unicorn, rare, whole, untamed. The world teaches settling as if love is a scarcity. But you know the truth. Real love is not found in desperation, but in alignment. And that's the thing. She's whole. She's not crumbling. She's not desperate. And a lot of times that desperation is what drives women into these terrible situations and make them stick and stay and settle. And she's not. And I don't believe that these men really want to have relationships with whole women that, are choosing to be with them all the time. They need someone that needs them. And that's not a good thing. Remember, she says she doesn't want kids. But Antoine says, because humanity needs kids. He's still responding to her, but that's his response, because humanity needs kids. He says, for now, in many countries, we don't have enough. And a family is a good way to raise kids. There are other ways, but need societal change. They really want to push children on women that don't want children. And that's what Bethany said, but she doesn't want kids. So that's not really relevant here. Yeah, they're going to have to get the updated version where they can actually read what women type and then respond to what they type, instead of just the verbal vomit that's coming out of their brains and then through their fingers. Anyways, like I said, these are 3 very different posts, but they needed a home and they were too short to make their own posts. Let me know what you think, though. So I literally just did this post yesterday where this man was wondering how men should be recognized if they manage to juggle both their home life and their career. And I was kind of laughing like we're supposed to give these men gold stars. Well, this woman, I was sent this video, and this woman is talking about how knowledge of cooking and obviously knowledge of cleaning does not come pre-installed in our vajayjay. And you all definitely need to see this clip because she is spitting some facts. So go ahead and give this a watch.
I often say to women in Nigeria that the knowledge of cooking does not come pre-installed in a vagina. And so the idea being that domestic skills are learned. Anybody can learn them. And if we raise boys very early on to know that this is expected of them, not something they do to get praise, not something they do when it's cute, but just something they do. I've seen many progressive families where, because the boy has cleaned his room, he gets excessive praise. That idea that a boy cleans his room and he gets praise. Why? I think that we should raise boys to know that we expect domestic abilities from them.